To the news, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has ordered persons living in flood-prone areas to vacate their areas by 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, which is Friday, or be forcefully evacuated. The evacuation orders target those living in landslide and mudslide-prone areas, as well as those residing within the immediate neighborhoods of 178 public and private dams that are approaching or have already filled to capacity. The evacuation orders come as communities likely to be impacted by floods and landslides called on the government to offer them alternative relocation sites. Brenda Wanga reports on the frantic efforts by some to seek refuge from the impact of the ongoing rains.
The Ministry of Interior's orders came into effect Thursday at 6:30 p.m., giving those living in areas deemed as high-risk fragile ecosystems 24 hours to move to safe grounds. The statement from the ministry says at the lapse of these hours, anyone found still living in the risky areas will be subjected to mandatory evacuation, this reinforcing the president's Thursday warning.
Masaa 48 kutokea kesho, kila mtu awe ametoka katika hiyo sehemu.
Those said to be relocated from landslide and mudslide areas are those residing in parts of Nandi, West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, Murang'a, Nyeri, Machakos and Makueni counties, as these areas have been identified as being prone to these occurrences. Those living close to 178 dams in 33 counties are also subject to these orders. But even before Thursday's orders, some communities had already begun to take precautions. In Kenton Village, a remnant of the colonial times that sits at the bottom of a range of hills in Nyandarua County, residents are beginning to live in their droves. They know their continued stay in their homes poses a real danger to their lives and livelihoods. The pounding rains have soaked the soil, loosening the rocks on the hills, and they say it is only a matter of time before the rocks come tumbling down.
Hii mawe yakiloa maji yanateremkaga yanakuja yanagonga manyumba. Kuna wakati iligonga nyumba ya mama akiwa amelala ikapitia kwa kitanda. Ni Mungu tu anatuliangia hapa, anatulinda.
They leave, but they have nowhere to go. The schools where the government had advised them to seek refuge is of little help to them.
Tuko na shida juu ya shida. Wengine wanajaribu kuhama kwenda kutafuta usaidizi kwa majirani.
Shule pale tunaambia tuende ni maji. Tutatorokea wapi? Tutaenda wapi? Mtu sikiria huruma. Mtu sikiria huruma yake. Hata ukiwaambia ukae hapa, hawezi kukaa, ni mawe.
The residents of this village are not the only ones willing to vacate their homes, albeit temporarily, to stay safe in the rains. But they say the government's directive is incomplete as it gives no indications of where they should find shelter and how they will survive away from their homes.
Unaona hii mimi maingu sasa tunafanya mna hii kutetemeka. Hatujui tutatokea nini. Lakini Mungu na serikali watusikirie huruma yake.
The Cabinet Secretary for Arid and Semi-Arid Lands suggesting that affected people may have to find their own survival means.
The first alternative that we're giving is that they be absorbed by their relatives, wherever they are, or even their neighbors.
Yeah. These fears faced by the affected residents, similar to what befell the Mai Mahiu area Sunday night. The residents here say they were warned, yes, but they did not take the warnings very seriously.
Alikuwa ametangazia kanisa. Sasa pali ilipitia hiyo maji. Hata mtu angedhani imeweza pitia huko. Haijawahi pitia huko.
Tuko na MCA area kwetu. Tuko na chief. Tuko na mzee wa kijiji. Kusema ukweli, ile njia kupokea kabisa. Walikuwa nafaa waitane mkutano na waandae watu. Waambie ajitayarishe ama ajitaharize kwa hiyo nini? Kwa sababu kuna ndemu itakuja.
The government continues to encourage people to leave danger zones as more rains are predicted. A second cabinet meeting chaired by President Ruto to track the response to the floods disaster resolved to implement measures and programs that will help the country mitigate the effects of climate change. The cabinet meeting came as the death toll from the rains and floods moved closer to the 200 mark. 188 people have so far died since the start